In a village where the mornings smelled of fresh earth and the evenings glowed with firelight, there lived a man who owned nothing but words. His name was Baba Kofi. He had no cattle to count his wealth, no sons to boast of his strength, and no land to mark his importance. Yet every evening, when Baba Kofi took his place beneath the great baobab tree, the village gathered as if summoned by an unseen drum. When Baba Kofi spoke, people listened. To the children, he told a story of a small bird that rushed to fly before its wings were strong. The bird fell again and again until it learned patience. From that day, the children of the village stopped running ahead of their lessons and began to listen to their elders. The child who walks too fast, Baba Kofi would say, will miss the footprints that lead home. To the farmers, weary from stubborn soil and dry seasons, he told a story of seeds buried deep in the ground, unseen and forgotten, yet preparing quietly for rain. The farmers returned to their fields with new hope. No matter how long the night, he reminded them, the sun will rise. To the hunters and warriors, proud of their strength, he told of a mighty elephant that fell into a pit because it refused to look down. The strongest men learned humility. The one who thinks he is too big to fall, Baba Kofi warned, has already forgotten the ground beneath his feet. When families quarreled and words became sharp like knives, Baba Kofi told of a cracked pot that still carried water and fed a household. What is broken is not always useless, he said, and what is whole is not always wise. With each passing season, people noticed something strange. Baba Kofi's stories always arrived when they were needed most. He spoke of patience before anger erupted, of humility before pride grew tall, of unity before division took root. The people began to wonder, where does this man gather such wisdom? They asked one another. Does he speak with the ancestors? Was he blessed at birth? Or does the earth itself teach him? Word of Baba Kofi spread beyond the village. Travelers came and stayed longer than planned. Elders from distant lands sat at his feet. Each person heard a different story, yet all walked away carrying something heavy with meaning. One evening, the village elders approached Baba Kofi as the fire crackled low. "Old father," they said, "you have fed us with wisdom for many years. Tell us now, where does it come from?" Baba Kofi smiled and did not answer directly. Instead, he told another story. He spoke of a young man who traveled far and learned that every mistake was a teacher. A man who listened more than he spoke, who watched people closely, who learned from silence as much as from sound. "Wisdom," Baba Kofi said softly, "is like rain. It does not choose one roof forever." Then he added, "What an elder sees sitting down, a child cannot see standing on a hill." The elders looked at one another and understood. Baba Kofi was not telling them about someone else. He was telling them about himself, without pride and without name. When Baba Kofi finally joined the ancestors, the baobab tree still stood. The fires still burned. And the stories, his stories, refused to die. Children repeated them in play. Elders quoted them in council. Travelers carried them across rivers and hills. And the people said, Baba Kofi was not rich in cattle, but he was wealthy in wisdom. To this day, the villagers believe, a man may leave the earth, but a story that teaches will never be buried. And so, Baba Kofi still speaks, whenever wisdom is needed, and someone is willing to listen.